Yo, what's good everybody? It's Kev, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a full in-depth tutorial on how I made this header you see here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video as it's going to be a long one, so bear with me. And if you are new around here, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. And don't forget to click the bell icon so you don't miss a future upload. Let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is open up Cinema 4D. And if you do not have Cinema 4D, do not worry, join my Discord. Once you have Cinema 4D open, all you're going to do is click text layer and then change your name here. And then the font will be right here on this little right side. You could change the depth, all that kind of stuff. You can also change like the bending to the letters if you would like. All you gotta do is click this little green arrow here and it'll put it straight. I usually don't like that, but then again, it's your header, so do it however you please and whatever looks good for you. But if you click right here where it says show 3D GUI, you can click on that and every single letter is individually marked, so you can move them around to how you would like. Say if you wanted like, you know, like certain spaces or anything like that. I like it how it is, so I'm not going to mess with that. And you can also do horizontal spacing as well. So as you can see, it's kind of spacing the letters out a bit. I like to leave like just a little bit of space so they're not like, you know, super scrunched up together like how they are here. You can't really see what's going on. And once we have all the effects on the text, you're not really going to be able to read it. So I like to leave it around like 4, nothing too crazy, but like I said, just enough to be able to read what it says, you know? All right, once you have everything to your liking, you're gonna go ahead and click up here to these little things. You're gonna click edit render settings, this little cogwheel here. And then you're gonna click on save and then choose the file location to where you want your text to be saved. I like it being saved in my patterns section. So we'll just name it Sparks 3D for that one. And you'll see why we named it 3D here in a second. So you're going to close out of that and then you're going to click on the render button and it'll render to the picture viewer. Once it's done rendering and you like what you see, you're going to go ahead and click File, Save As, and then it's going to show all this stuff. Click OK. And then it's going to bring up the same file that you just saved it in the last location. And this is very important. If you do not render it to the picture viewer, it will not save to the file that you saved before. So go ahead and click save and click yes if it already exists, whatever. So now it's saved. So this is the 3D version of what we just did. Now we're going to get on to the 2D. All right, after you saved your 3D, go ahead and click the text layer at the top. And where it says depth here, you're going to bring it all the way down to about 1 or 0, however you like it. I like 0, so we're going to go with 0. So again, render settings, click save, click this, and then we're going to name it 2D this time so we don't get them mixed up. And now we're going to go to this little middle part here. Render to picture viewer is what that is. It's going to show right here. File, save as, okay. Sparks 2D. Replace it if it's already there, and there's the 2D version. Now let's get into Photoshop. All right, boys, now that we are in Photoshop, you're going to click File, New, and I have this one saved already, but if you don't, the width is going to be 3000, the height is going to be 1000, and the resolution is going to be 300. But also, like I said in the last video, you don't have to have it to 300. I personally just like to for better quality, or you could just go with the base 72 like I said before. All right, now that you are in Photoshop, the first thing you're going to want to do is you are going to find the artist that you would like to use for your header. I like to work around my renders. That way the text doesn't get lost in between them, if that makes sense. So once I find my artist that I'm going to be using, I will get back to you guys and we'll go from there. Okay, once you find the artist you're going to be using, go ahead and copy it from Google, wherever you're getting the image from, paste it into your Photoshop. Click on the layer that you want to do first, and it's going to be this one for me. So I click on layer 1 and you'll see right here it says remove background, and now we have a render of that artist. So now I'm going to do the same for the other one. Remove the background, and there we go. And now that you have the renders, what we're going to do is we are going to open up a file explorer and we're going to go to wherever you saved the text, and we're going to drag that in just so we kind of see what we're working with as far as the design goes. So you're going to drag in the 3D, and then you're going to go back to the file explorer, and then you're going to drag in the 2D, and it'll automatically attach to your 3D, as you can see here. So now we are going to hold shift and click on the 2D version and drag it above. And now we kind of have something going on here. And once you have your text in there, go ahead and just resize it, you know, put the renders however you want them to be, whether it be in front of the text, behind the text, whatever you want. It's your header, do what you want. Next, we are going to edit the renders themselves. So you're going to click on the first render that you have here. So I'll do this one. And then you're going to go into filter, and then you're going to go to stylize, and then you're going to click on oil paint. Shout out to Nax for this here. As you can see, it makes it look like it's literally an oil painting, so that's pretty cool. You can kind of see it on there. You can copy these settings if you would like. You know, you can change them up to whatever fits your style, your render, all that kind of stuff. Obviously that's cursed right there, but yeah, you can make it, you know, stylization just kind of makes it like more blurry, it looks like. But I like to put it down so you can actually like kind of see like what's going on, you know, but it's like just a little effect there. So we'll do that. Now that that's done, you can zoom in and you can see that it's done to that. And now I'll do the second render and we will do the same thing. And it's nothing crazy, but little details matter. All right, now we are getting into the text part of the header. So you're going to click on the 3D part of your text, and you're going to click Control J or Command J if you are on Mac, and you are going to right click it, convert it to a smart object here, click filter gallery, and click on the sketch folder here, and click on Chrome if it's not already selected for you. And then as you can see, it shows everything here. You can go ahead and copy these settings. And now, as you can see, we are getting somewhere. And once you have the Chrome effect on your 3D layer here, you go to the blending options and put it to overlay, as you can see here. And now you're going to go to the 2D and you're going to convert that to a smart object. And now you're going to add a new layer. Hold Alt, and then you see this little square with the arrow pointing down. Click on that, and then we're going to go to the lasso tool, and we're just going to make like a basic little brush, if you want to call it that, through the text. We'll just go like let's say about that. And now we are going to click this little circle down here, click solid color, and then we'll click let's say like the silver part, you know, make it a little darker so it pops out, but it's not too you know, it doesn't like blend in. Or if you want, make it black, whatever suits your header and the colors that you're going for. Personally, I think I'm going to do black because the rest of the text will be red, and I'm going to be going with a black and red theme here. And then of course, if you don't like how it is at first, you can click on the layer, press Ctrl T, and then you can move it around to your liking, all that kind of stuff. I like it how it is, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, so now that we have the brush on there, if you want a color, it's pretty simple to do. I'm sure this is the long way, and I'm sure there is an easier way to do this, but this is how I do it. So I'll hide the 3D layer, and then I will take the magic wand tool here, and I will hold shift, and I will select each letter, and then I will press Ctrl C and then Ctrl V. And then with the copy that I made here, I'll just click the color overlay, and as you can see, it's red now. So I'll click OK, and then I'll bring back up the 3D, see how it looks with it. No problems there, so that's what we're going to go with. And now we can go ahead and bring back these. So once you have everything done like that, to the color you want it to be, all that kind of stuff, you're just going to hold shift on the layer that you made a little bit ago, and then click the 2D layer, right click, convert to smart object, and now we are going to Control or Command J on that, filter gallery, and we are going to put the Chrome back on there as well. And now as you can see, it kind of covered it up, but that's okay because we are going to go to the blending options and we are going to find something that we think suits this header. So just find whatever, you know, whatever works best for you and what you want it to be. I like luminosity, so that's what I'm going to go with. And once you have the Chrome effect and the overlay thing done, you're going to double click on the first one, like the original copy of the 2D, and you are going to head over to satin. You can go ahead and copy these if you would like. Click OK. And now as you can see, we are starting to form our header. Next, you are just going to hold shift and click the top layer there, right click, convert to smart object, And now we are going to mess with all of these. So we're going to add the inner shadow. Go ahead and copy those settings if you would like. You can make the opacity, of course, whatever you would like. Make the distance more. I kind of like a shorter distance, so it's not like, you know, like overlapping everything. So kind of something like that. And like I said earlier, the details do matter. So once that's good, just go ahead and click OK. We're going to go back into it, and then we can also add the inner glow if you would like. Kind of about, let's say, just mess with it, you know, whatever you want it to be. You can add some noise if you like. As you can see, it kind of makes it like you know, look staticky. I personally don't like that, but you know, up to you. Add a stroke if you would like. Don't really see why you would need that, but you know, like I said, your header, do what you want. Now your text is almost done. Now we are going to go back to the original copy of our 3D text. And of course, this part is completely up to you. You know, you can add color overlays if you want, gradient overlays, you know, it's completely up to you. I personally just like to add the little bevel and emboss, and that's damn near it. As you can see, it kind of, you know, it does a little bit like around the edges there. Click OK. Personally, I don't really like the overlay blending mode, so I'm going to go to something a little darker, maybe color burn. And now once we, you know, change the colors and the background and all that kind of stuff, it'll pop out more. There's your text, and now we're gonna go to the background. What you can do is you can either draw the shapes in the background if you would like to with the lasso tool, like how we did earlier and made the brush inside of the text. But me personally, I'm just gonna use this out of a graphics pack that I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that, go to the background layer, go ahead and move that, make it fit that, and I will put it to about there. I'll press Ctrl J on that, Ctrl T, right click that, flip horizontal, and I'll go ahead and put it behind this one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look up like a couple backgrounds from Travis Scott performing, and I will get back to you guys when that's done. Now, once you have your background, you can go ahead and start to add the little details. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to create a clipping mask to this one here. And then I'm going to press B for the brush tool, and I'm going to make these red. And now I will do the same for here. Click on the right side one, make a new layer, hold Alt, and then click down there. And now I can press B on my keyboard yet again. And here we go. Now these are red. And now, as you can see, we're getting somewhere. So next, I will just put a new layer behind them and press the B on my keyboard again, and then just kind of add like little small layers behind it. So it's, you know, kind of popping out a bit. But nothing too crazy, you know? And once you have those colored to whatever your color is going to be, we're going to find 2 more backgrounds, and we're going to create a clipping mask with those and put them in the shapes that we made here. Now that you have those in there, all I did was I just brought in different wallpapers, and then I put them above the red brush that we made, right clicked, and created a clipping mask here. Or you can also do the Alt method that I showed you guys earlier. Now what we're going to do to match the red color is we're going to go back to the blending options, and we're going to click on darken. So as you can see, now the image that we put in there is red. Go ahead and click darken again, and now we have this. So now what we're going to do is we are going to click on the top layer down here that we made. One of the background pictures, doesn't really matter. Now we are going to add a gradient map, and we are going to make it, click up here, we're going to double click this, and we are going to put black for that one, double click that one, and we are going to put like a somewhat like a darkish gray, almost kind of dark gray, or you know, something like that, almost like black and white kind of vibes going on. And now we're going to add some simple things to the background to kind of make it stand out a little bit. So again, I have this graphics pack. Of course, you don't have to use a graphics pack. I would recommend getting one though. They're pretty cheap. I think I paid like 20 bucks, 30 bucks for this one. Definitely worth it. Of course, you can find PNGs of, you know, these things on Google or anything like that. So I'm going to use these butterflies here, and I'm going to click on the gradient map because I don't want them behind it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste them above it. I'm gonna, let's say, about put it, let's see about, so we can rotate it. We're gonna go about there. I like it there, so what I'm gonna do is now is Control J and then Control T so I can move it around. Put a couple more. Let's see, we increase that, and we'll put it about there. And now with this one, I will do Control J or Command J again and move it around, but this time I will flip it horizontally, so now they're going this way. But with this one, I am going to put it behind the gradient map that we made earlier. So now, as you can see, they're almost like they're the shadows of the ones over here, if that makes sense. So with the first ones that you pasted, just do Control U and click Colorize, and then we're just gonna match the red that we have going on here. So I think 86 is good. We can, of course, bring the lightness down, and I like that one, so we're going to do Control U on the second one, colorize, and then we'll go back to the 86, bring the lightness down just a bit. Now, with this one, it's kind of blending in with the flares that we made behind the shape, so I'm just going to move it over just a tiny bit. That way, they kind of pop out a little more. And then with these ones, I'm not going to touch these ones on the left at all. So I'll go back to the pack, and I'll get the bigger butterfly, and I will put it to the front of everything. Make it a little smaller, rotate it a bit so it looks like it's going in. Do Control U again, and then I'm going to bring the saturation all the way down so it looks like it's you know, black and white. I'm going to add a layer, and I'm going to do a clipping mask, and then I'm going to press B for the brush tool, and now I'm going to do white, kind of give it like it's glowing a little bit. As you can see, we kind of gave it that little glowing edge. And now I will do black for the left side, just a little bit, nothing crazy. We'll do that. And now we're going to do this, hold shift on that, and then convert it to a smart object there. And then we're going to go to filter, blur, and then Gaussian blur, then bring it to about 4.2, and then we'll do that, and then make it a little bigger so it looks like it's like flying out of focus, you see? All right, now that our background is kind of starting to take shape, we are going to mess with the renders now. So what we're going to do is add a new layer here and put it behind, say, this one, the render on my left side here. And then I'm going to press B for the brush tool, go to the red again, and I'm just going to make the little smaller layers behind. That way he's kind of outlined. And then I'll do the same thing with this one. So I'll click this below the layer, add a layer, boom, boom. You know, like nothing too crazy. Just kind of, you know, something to kind of outline him a bit. There we go. Go to this one, kind of make that, make it a little smaller. There we go. And we'll go with that. Next, we are going to add a hue and saturation layer. So go to the little circle down here, click hue and saturation, and we're going to click colorize. And we are going to bring it back up to the red like we did earlier. So I believe it's about 86. Looks good. Next, we will click this little white box here, press Control I, and then we will hold Alt, and then make sure this little box pops up. And now it should only go to this render here. Next, we are going to press B. So as you can see, it's adding red to the render there. So I like it like that. So that's what we're going to go with. And now we're just going to do the same thing to the other render. This time we're going to click the right side of the render. Make sure you make it a clipping mask first so it only goes to the render. That's too much of the face in my opinion. There we go. About that. Not too bad. So this time what we're going to do is we are going to yet again add a hue and saturation. Click colorize, but this time we are going to make it a little lighter. Nothing crazy, of course, but we're going to bring it up to about 10. Make sure you do that clipping mask again. Click the white box, Control I, and now we will go here. And as you can see, it's kind of like it gives it that little like fading effect almost, so it's like darker to lighter. And now we're going to do that with the first render as well. So it's very subtle, but you can still tell the difference for sure. So as you can see, so there's that. And now what we are going to do is we are going to create another layer, and make sure you do it under the clipping mask so you don't have to keep creating new clipping masks. And what we are going to do now, this is the tedious part of the header. So we have the new layer, select the new layer, make sure you have the white brush selected, scroll into it, and we are going to outline the whole character here. Just make sure you do it on the edges, you know, if you want to do that part. And if you want to select a whole area kind of like that, you just hold shift and then you select the little spot where you want to go to. So sometimes it's a little buggy, of course, so you don't want too much of this part. And yeah, so just do that for both renders, and I will get back to you guys when it's done. Alright, now that all of that fun stuff is done, we are going to go back to the background. So now this is where all of the fun stuff begins. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we're selected on our gradient map if you made one. And we're just going to find some PNGs that we like, you know. So personally, I like to add smoke. If you guys have seen my headers before, then you guys know this is a very popular one for me. So I like this one. And I'm just going to click on the gradient map and paste it above. That way it doesn't go in with the gradient map itself. So I'm just going to put them above everything here, so it's like actually in the background, you see. So now I'll do this, Control J, flip that horizontally, and now I will merge these with Control G, and I'll just bring it down just a little bit to about 58%. Now let's see if we can find some more. I like these ones as well, so I'm gonna do that, boom boom, but this time I'm gonna put them above everything. Control J, Control T, flip horizontally, and just bring it all the way to the other side. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do Control U, colorize it, and then I'm gonna put it to the red that we had earlier. I believe it was 86. So, but this time we're gonna bring the lightness down a bit. So now we have the little red smoke there. And then I'm gonna do the same with the other side as well. So boom, boom, 86, lightness down just a bit. And now I'm gonna group those as well and lower the opacity. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another PNG, and let's see, maybe we'll do the chains. Yeah, we'll do the chain. So we'll do that. And now we are going to put it above the gradient map. Make sure it's right there. Have it kind of look like it's coming from the top there. Control J on it, and then I will add it about here. So now there we go. Now it looks like it's kind of coming down and swooping up from up there. And then if you guys want, of course, you can do it to the other side, but completely up to you. Of course, there's, you know, there's other things on here, maybe a dove or whatever you guys like. So now the background is completely up to you. Whatever you want to add to it, go ahead and add to it. Now that you have some things in your background, what we're going to do is we are going to go to the text that we made earlier, and we are going to hold shift and click the top layer of it, and we are going to right click it, convert it to a smart object there, Control J, and now as you can see we have the entire text to work with. So we're going to make it a little smaller, put it about here or wherever you like, wherever it makes sense for your header. And now what you're going to do is you're going to copy that again, and this time you are going to go to filter gallery, and then you are going to put the chrome on it yet again. It looks funky, but don't worry, because now we are going to go to the blending modes, and we are going to put it to saturation. And now what we are going to do is we are going to hold shift and click the original copy that we made and Control E, and now we are going to press Control J again, and now as you can see we have the original text but in the one that we just made. So we're going to put it a little bit in the background here, so I'm going to put it there as like a little reference, but I'm going to drag it down. So now as you can see, it's part of the background again. Of course, if you want, go ahead, play with it, put it wherever you want. Looks good back there, in my opinion. And of course, it's your header, so do as you please. Now we are just going to add effects to the background, like little glows, effects, stuff like that. You can find these on multiple different websites. There's a bunch of things like these little glow effects and stuff like that. And just remember that this is all trial and error kind of thing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it behind everything except that. So yeah, there we go. So I want it about, let's say there, and then I'll do Control J and just move it over. And then of course I'll do Control U and then click colorize, and then I'll bring it to the red that we made earlier, but I'll bring the lightness down a bit. I'll bring the lightness down to about -42, and then I'll bring the opacity to 55. And then I will do the same with the other one. So as you can see, it added a little bit. It's, you know, it's character pretty much. I just kind of added a couple more of those little clouds that we added before, as you can see here, and I just put them to the screen thing here. Now we're just going to add little lights and stuff like that. We will go ahead and create a new layer above everything. Brush tool, select red, and then maybe we'll click on the butterfly a bit, maybe like that, maybe that one, then maybe we will put this one to white, click on that, maybe this one, and we will go back to the red, that, and then we'll just add like let's see, maybe another white here, and then now we'll just do this, find something that we like there, and we'll put it to hue. So it's nothing crazy, but just a little bit of detail, you know, kind of pops them out a little more. Next, we're just going to add some particles. If you have some, then go ahead and add them. If not though, like I said before, you can find them pretty much anywhere. You can find them Google, things like that. But let's see, we'll go see maybe this one, and then we'll go below basically everything. So we'll go about here, make it in the background a bit, make it a little bigger. Then we'll do Control U, colorize it to, of course, the red that we're going with, bring the lightness down a tiny bit. There's that. I like to click the eraser tool and just make it super big, and then have the hardness all the way down to 0. That way it just erases slightly. So now it's like kind of faded back there, you know? So we are almost done. Now we're just going to add little details. So what we're going to do is we are going to select the very top layer, go all the way down to the bottom layer from when we first started. We are going to press Control G, and it is going to make the group. Then we are going to press Control J, and now we are going to name the first copy backup, and we are going to name this one main. That way, if anything messes up, then we can always revert back to the original. So on the main, you're going to press Control E, and then you're going to press Control Shift and A, and now it'll pull this up. So this is the camera raw filter. We're going to go ahead and go over to basic. I like to just lower raise, these kind of things. We're going to add the texture up a little bit, clarity as well. As you can see, the background, it's starting to show more. Of course, you don't want it too high, but we'll do about this. Dehaze, bring that up a tiny bit as well. So we'll go to detail now. And then for sharpening, we'll bring it up a bit. Noise reduction, we will also bring that up. And then color noise reduction, we'll bring that up a tiny bit. So for noise reduction, I'll go about 60. And now as you can see, there's way more detail now. So there we go. And now I will open another graphics pack here. And you can get graphics pack. It's like literally anywhere. Just look it up on YouTube and you can literally find like free graphics packs, and you'll be able to use the CCs as well. It really makes a difference in your designs. So I'm going to use 8 here, and I'm also going to use 10. You can see it makes it pop a bit more. So I'm just going through, and I'll do 17 as well. Now it's really detailed. I'll go to overlays, and then I will click this black border here, and I'll put it below these. There's that. And I will also click this here, and I'll put that below. Bring the opacity down a bit. And now I will click the bottom layer, hold Shift Control E. Now you have all of that. And then if you would like, after adding your CCs and all that kind of stuff, you can go back to the camera raw filter. So Control Shift A, and then you can also raise things like that as well. Especially if you add like, you know, noise or anything like that. So like, as you can see this little spot here, noise reduction, it kind of just makes it like smoother. Sharpening, of course, brings it out more, and we're gonna go with that. And just like that, your wrapper header is finished. If you made it all the way to the end, clearly you like the content, so please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you are new. Let me know what to drop next. I got y'all boys, man. See you in the next one. Peace.